Welcome back, boys and girls. You're watching Creative Clubhouse. I'm Miss Rebecca, and right here with us we have Mr. Science from the Savannah Science Museum. Let's give him a big hand, boys and girls.
Oh,
Right
thanks.
here with us.
Oh, it's so good to be back. And, I've noticed when I came in how beautiful the clubhouse looks. You guys did a real good job redecorating. You must have been hard at work.
I'm telling you, they're hard at work.
How about that? Today we're going to talk about a special creature that lives in the ocean. Does anybody know what we're going to talk about? Yes, ma'am.
Turtle.
That's right. We're going to talk about turtles today. And there's lots of different kinds of turtles that live in the ocean. But we're going to talk about a very important turtle that we study at the Savannah Science Museum. And that's known as the loggerhead sea turtle, sometimes known by scientists as Caretta caretta. And as I pick up this actual sea turtle that's been preserved, what do you notice especially about this sea turtle when you look at it? What's one of the first things you notice? Yes?
He's got a hump on his back.
Well, a little bit of a hump. Yeah, that's right. But something, what about the fins? Yes?
It's not, he doesn't have any toes or fingers, it's just like fins.
That's right. That's because he's using these to go through the water. Doesn't nature design things so good? Look at the streamlined design of that turtle. And these fins help propel the turtle through the water. And, of course, there's some in the back, too, that it can use, right? Now, do you think turtles live in salt water or fresh water? Who knows? Yes, ma'am.
Salt water.
That's right. They live in salt water out in the ocean. The ocean is made of salt water. Also, these turtles are very rarely seen by people in the Savannah area unless you're able to go out to the islands and check them out there. And why is that? Because they very rarely come to shore. Did you know that? It's only the female that comes ashore to lay her eggs. The male turtle very rarely ever comes ashore unless he's injured. And we don't like to see that happen, do we? No, we don't like to see that. So the female comes ashore to lay her eggs. And that's very, very important to keep the species going. It's about every 2 years. And they crawl onto the beach, and they make their way up there, and they start digging in the sand. They dig a real deep hole. And then they lay hundreds of eggs in this hole, and then they cover it back up with sand. And then they go back to the ocean and swim away. And those eggs stay in the sand, and they stay in the sand, and they wait to hatch. And nature has given those eggs and those little creatures inside those eggs the knowledge of when to come out. They don't come out during the daytime. If they did, they know the birds would eat them. So they can tell by the temperature of the soil when it turns to nighttime. And that way they can crawl out of their little shells and dig way out in dirt and run to the ocean. That's why it's important not to put your lights on at night, because sometimes those little baby turtles get confused and they'll start headed towards the light instead of heading towards the ocean. And when that happens, they die. Thank goodness for companies like the Savannah Electric and Power Company. They have that special program called Lights Out. That way those turtles can go right back to sea. That's great, isn't it? Huh? Mm-hmm. Okay. The importance of laying those eggs is one of the big things that we do with the Science Museum out on Wausau Island. We have the Wausau Island Research Project, Caretta Project. It's been going on now for about 20 years. And people from all around the world come out there and they spend a week and they count turtles, the ones that they see. They count the number of eggs that they see laid, if they possibly happen to see a nest in action. And also, they do a lot of important work by tagging the sea turtles. Now, I heard, Miss Rebecca, that the kids have some questions today. Is that right?
I think that they do. Who has a question? Raise your hand. Molly.
How long do you keep turtles in the museum?
Oh, that's a good question. We're starting a new project where we're going to have one tank just for babies, another tank for youngsters like Spike that we have now, who's 2.5 years old, and then a tank for the older turtles. So basically, we keep turtles on a 6-year cycle, and then you know what we do with them?
What?
We put them back in the ocean so they can be free again. That way you can enjoy them, and we can enjoy them, and have fun studying them.
Isaiah, what's your question?
How long can turtles stay underwater?
Oh, that's a very important question, because the turtles have to sleep sometime, don't they? But they don't sleep like you or I. You know how you and I go to bed, we go, 8 hours, we're there all night long, right? Well, they take little cat naps. So they can sleep underwater for 45 minutes without having to breathe. But they do breathe air, so it's important they come back up to the surface and breathe again. They're like little submarines. If they want to go down, they blow out air and they go down. But if they want to swim back up, they use those fins to go right back up to the surface again. Anybody else have any questions?
Ellie's got a question.
Oh, yes.
How come turtles stay down in the water?
How come turtles don't drown in the water? People are asking us that all the time. They go, how could you be so mean and leave that turtle in that tank like that? He might drown. But they don't. They don't drown because they're meant to be in the water. They take their cat naps and where they float down underneath the water for 45 minutes or less, and they're fine. They don't drown. They don't need to rest. So don't worry about it if you see a turtle in a tank. They're not going to drown.
Michael, what's your question?
How big do loggerhead turtles grow?
How big do they grow? Why don't you stand up right there? Yeah, stand up. A loggerhead turtle, when it reaches its full height from head to tail, is going to be about 4 feet tall. How tall are you?
About 4 feet tall.
About 4 feet tall. But you know the big difference between you and a loggerhead sea turtle? When they're full size, they're going to weigh 450 pounds. Do you weigh 450 pounds?
No.
I don't think so. That's the big difference. That's how big they get. Have a seat. Anybody else have a question?
What's your question, RJ?
Yeah, what's your question?
What does loggerhead turtles eat?
What do they eat? Well, that's a very good question. The young ones will eat insects on the water, but the older ones have a real liking for shellfish. But sometimes some of the loggerhead sea turtles will eat things in the ocean that they think are jellyfish. And when that happens, you're in big trouble. You know that? And here's one of the big dangers. Garbage in the ocean like this little plastic sandwich bag. Hey, Lucky, why don't you tell us about these, okay? Lucky, are you going to tell us about these?
Floating in the ocean, it looks like my favorite thing in the whole wide sea to eat. Peanut butter and jellyfish. Good. But it's really a plastic sandwich bag. And if we eat it, we're in big trouble. And if there's one thing that I like to do, that's to eat. I love to eat. I like peanut butter. I like jellyfish. No more plastic sandwich bag. It's my only wish. Maybe someday plastic will go away. Everything I eat will be a tasty treat. I like peanut butter. I like jellyfish. No more plastic sandwich bag. It's my only wish. Maybe someday plastic will go away. Everything I eat will be a tasty treat. I like peanut butter. I like jellyfish. No more plastic sandwich bag. It's my only wish.
I guess it's important to realize we shouldn't have these plastic bags out in the ocean. We got to put them in the trash can, right? And we can save the world by being responsible like that, can't we? You guys want to have some fun singing a song with me? Huh? Sure. All right. Well, let's clap our hands, okay? You can save the world. You can save the world. You can save the world and make it a better place. One night I had a dream where the water was very clean. Skies were blue, the leaves were green, the most precious sight you ever seen. Yes, you can save the world. You can save the world. You can save the world and make it a better place. One night I had a dream where the water was very clean. Skies were blue, the leaves were green, most precious sight you've ever seen. You can save the world. You can save the world. You can save the world and make it a better place. Sing along, I think you know it. You can save the world. You Make it a better place. I don't hear you. Make it a better place. One more time. Make it a better place. Well, Miss Rebecca, I sure do appreciate being here, but I got to go now.
Oh, yeah, well, let's give them a great big hand. Stay with us, boys and girls. We'll be right back with Miss Karen Conley from Haven Elementary.